Hello, and welcome to today's video. Today, I want to talk to you about how I use carnivore and meat-based approaches in my life and in the lives of my clients. So I'll be the first person to say, I am not the biggest pusher of the carnivore diet. I absolutely love meat-based diets. I think that having animal products as a base of the foods that we consume just makes sense. Anyone that's really done their research will come to the same conclusion. They're simply the highest in the nutrients that we really need. They support the development of the enormous brains that we have. And very frequently you hear of people doing vegan or vegetarian and converting to carnivore. It's very rare that you hear people going from meat-based back to vegan or vegetarian, because you can just feel the difference. You just kind of know. I believe it's very intrinsic. You just feel it on a body level. But as I said, I'll be the first person to say, I don't think the carnivore diet is the solution for most people. However, there's wisdom in it and it's a tool. And if we can learn how to use the tool correctly, we can get the best benefit and mitigate any potential negatives. So how do I personally use the principles of a carnivore diet or meat-based approach to eating? On a general daily basis, I'm aiming for getting a solid amount of my calories and all of my protein from animal sources. In fact, for a very long time now, I've just completely stopped counting protein from plant sources. I just don't think it's really the same thing. Protein is this kind of thing that's just like thrown around, like protein this, protein that, but it's not protein itself that's valuable. It's the amino acid composition of the protein. So for example, you could eat 50 grams of spider venom. That is not beneficial protein for you to eat. It's still really high in protein, but you're probably going to die if you do it. And when you look at the composition, the amino acids that are in different foods, you really get the amino acid profile that you want. You really get the amino acids that you need from animal products. So I don't even count protein from plants anymore. I think it's kind of a waste of time. So I'm always trying to get my protein goals with animal products. This doesn't have to be meat, actually. And some people think you have to do it that way. I think dairy counts completely fine. Eggs, fine. Fish, great. Chicken, also totally fine. I think variety is the spice of life, and there are a lot of benefits to having different things. Plus, it can get kind of boring just eating one or two different types of meat. Also, when you're, for example, like me right now in Thailand, beef is kind of hard to get. There's chicken everywhere and there's pork in everything. It's crazy. If you look at the instant noodles in the supermarket, and I know that's a funny tangent in a video talking about carnivore, but if you look at the instant noodles in the supermarket, 80 to 90% of them are pork flavored. And there's like 1,000 different brands of pork flavored noodles. It's crazy how much the Asians love their pork flavored things. So anyway, animal fats, definitely the best kind of fats to be consuming as well. So however you do it, if this is butter, ghee, tallow, lard, these are the kind of fats that the body loves. These are the kind of fats that will go under your skin and they will protect you from getting sunburn. These are the kind of fats that will build up around your kidneys and nourish the adrenal glands. These are the kind of fats that your body can very easily use for fuel. They make it very easy when you're fasting or when you're going into a ketogenic state to have good, clean energy instead of feeling kind of crappy. And I also love the principles of nose to tail eating. So organ meats wherever you can. I kind of find organ meats a bit gross. I know that there's quite a lot of people that like that too, but I don't mind pate. So I have my pate. Again, this is one reason that I like to not just eat animal products. I like pate on toast. I like it on bread. That's kind of traditionally how it's been eaten for thousands of years. I kind of like it that way. But there's definitely a wisdom in including the organ meats. Also, broth is a staple of my diet, consuming it at least 3 or 4 times a week. So I'm really a big fan of taking all of the wisdom from a meat-based approach and bringing it into more of a, let's say, a balanced approach, a balanced diet. Who would have known that if you eat a healthy, balanced diet, you could be healthy? That's a funny surprise, huh? But there are certain situations where I will eat carnivore for a day. So if for some reason my digestive system is feeling not very good, if I had food poisoning, or if, let's say, I ate something and it kind of upset my stomach for some reason. The other day I had some food, it was way too spicy for me. It was delicious. It was really fun to eat. It wasn't really fun to digest and to get rid of. And it kind of upset my stomach. And the day following that, I basically ate scrambled eggs and minced beef. And that was pretty much it. There was some fruit juice in there as well. That's very easy on the stomach for me personally. But it was kind of accepting that, yes, plant foods are more difficult to digest. Yes, fiber is irritating to the digestive system. And I used it like a tool, and that's really how I would encourage people to use it. Now, when I'm looking at my clients, the people that I work with, actually very, very interestingly, one of the things that I've been seeing more and more people coming to me for is people that are on a carnivore diet and they got stuck. They're stuck on a carnivore diet and they don't want to be on a carnivore diet anymore. But they went there because it gave them some level of symptom relief. The level of symptom relief that they achieved has kind of disappeared. So they're still having the same level of symptoms that they were having when they were eating plant foods, but now they're stuck on the carnivore diet. And if they try to break the carnivore diet, they have even more symptoms, and it's just horrible. So if you're not fully carnivore yet, you've got some plant foods in there, I generally find it's better to avoid going fully carnivore if you can, because there are quite a few people that kind of get stuck there. So contextually, the place that I would look at using this would be, first of all, as an elimination diet. There are some people that are having massive food reactions to lots of different things. Bringing it back just to animal foods, or animal foods plus some well-tolerated or safer foods by the individual, that's a really nice option. Animal foods tend to be much less allergenic than plant foods, just because, well, animals have legs. They don't have anti-nutrients. They can run away from things. They don't need to put plant chemicals in there to deter things from eating them. So for that reason, they're much easier for the body to digest and assimilate. Also, again, like I said, if you do your research, you'll find that animal products have way more nutrition than basically all the plant foods. Like if you're looking at nutrient density in foods, there's literally no comparison plant-animal foods. It's not even a fair competition. Animal foods just win out every single time. So if someone's dealing with a state of depletion, the body doesn't have the resources that it needs, animal foods are almost always the best way to bring those stores and those reserves back up. And sometimes having a lot of plant foods in the diet that are irritating the digestive system and causing issues makes it hard for the body to extract the nutrients from the meat that's actually easy to digest. But the key here is it's about nuance. It's about finding this kind of gray zone in the middle. It's not a black and white situation. You'll go in like carnivore groups, like on Facebook or something, and you'll see people saying, oh yeah, I'm carnivore, but I have spices and coffee. And they'll attack them for that. They'll say that's not the healthiest way to do it. It's like everybody's different. And I actually find that for the most people, a balanced approach somewhere in the middle, where we're not at extremes either side, actually tends to work. However, that requires nuance. And nuance is more complicated, is more delicate. And what I find people want is they just want an extreme. They want something to just jump to. They want an ultimatum. But the thing is, that doesn't work for everyone. In fact, it actually works for many less people than you would think. So using it as an elimination diet can be nice. Using it to provide nutritional stores to an individual that's quite depleted can also be very nice. But you also very often can get the majority of these benefits and still include some kind of plant foods, minimizing reactions if we understand where the reactions are coming from. So one thing we can look at here, one angle that's very interesting, is that animal foods require a few very selected parts of the digestive machinery. You need stomach acid and you need bile, and then the digestive enzymes that help with digesting the protein and the fat, which is a very, very small portion of the digestive machinery. When you're looking at plant foods, when you're looking at fruit, when you're looking at starchy carbohydrates, this opens a whole other avenue of different types of digestive machinery that are required. A large portion of this is actually digestive machinery that's present in the small intestine, which is the place that is most often damaged and causes reactions, histamine intolerance, autoimmunity, food sensitivities. It's what's happening in the small intestine that's most important. And what can happen is this lining is damaged, the person develops leaky gut, and consequently, we lose many of the brush border enzymes. So this is DAO. This is how we tolerate histamine. This is maltase. So this is the enzyme that helps us break down starches and starchy carbohydrates. And as all of this begins to happen, the microbiome becomes very dysbiotic, is producing endotoxins, is releasing fragments that cause all of these different types of inflammatory processes that are then absorbing through this gut that has increased permeability. And we're creating this very hostile, very negative environment in the gut that is very damaging to the host. But the problem here isn't the food, it's this whole environment that's happening. So first of all, if we can figure out how to digest the food correctly, if we can make it so that the digestive machinery that's missing is temporarily replaced, often many of these foods that have been eliminated can be reintroduced with small or minimal reactions. One really good example here is replacing the amylase and the maltase tends to improve people's tolerance to starches significantly. And don't shoot the messenger. I'm not saying that this is like the one-size-fits-all rule, but I tend to find that women do better with carbohydrates. Now, if you're someone that's thriving on carnivore and you're doing great, like awesome, maybe that really does work for you. But I'm just telling you from my experience, the people that I talk to, women tend to do better with carbohydrates. Women's metabolisms are far more sensitive. They're far more delicate. And for long-term reproductive health, for long-term hormonal health, they tend to do better with a higher concentration of dietary carbohydrates. Also, men that are in a more fragile situation. For example, when I had severe adrenal fatigue, I was completely burnt out. My body was severely underweight. When I was able to begin tolerating carbohydrates, my body was craving them just like insanely. And I would eat 7,000 calories a day. And 4,000 of those calories would be just refined sugar. We're talking literally like a kilogram of refined sugar in a day. And my body asked me for that for 6 to 8 weeks. And it just replenished me. I gained so much weight. I gained so much muscle. I gained so much body fat. And as this happened, my body just completely reset. Like my histamine symptoms improved significantly. In fact, they went completely away. Complete total 100% remission. Mast cells completely stabilized. The adrenal fatigue got enormously better. I was so much more tolerant to things. Sleep improved. There was just like improvements across the board. Now, I can foresee a time in my future where I tend towards a lower carbohydrate way of eating. And that's obviously going to be more of a carnivore meat-based approach. However, I'm not imposing this on my body. I'm not forcing this on my body. I know that when it wants it, it will tell me that this is the time. And I just have a feeling it's coming. I just know it's something that I can feel inside of me. So overall, I do actually prefer a lower carbohydrate way of eating, a meat-based, more of a hyper-carnivore approach where a lot of the calories, a lot of the nutrients are coming from animal foods. However, I think a lot of harm can be done when we impose this on the body unnecessarily, when it's not what the body's asking for, or when it's done almost with brute force, or when we're lacking that nuance for the digestion and for the microbiome situation, because there are potentially negative consequences from just consuming animal products long term. Now, I don't want you to feel like I'm backing you into a corner. I don't want you to get defensive and fight me on that. If this is what you need right now, you know your situation better than me. I'm not saying don't do it. What I'm saying is there are many benefits to carbohydrates. There are many benefits to the plant kingdom, the influences on the microbiome, the influences on your antioxidant status. And it would be a really big shame to throw out all of these benefits just because we want to stick with the perspective or mindset that we have. So just be open to it. And maybe it's not where you're at right now, but maybe you will be one day. Because I was really restricted for a really long period of time. I had a very elitist way of approaching food. I just cared about nutrient density and making it as low inflammatory as possible. But that isn't the diet that healed me. That's the diet that I needed to stay alive, but it perpetuated disease in many ways. So I love the meat-based approach. I think there's a lot of wisdom in the carnivore movement. However, I don't think it's just this one size fits all. And I do also believe for many people it's creating a lot of problems. And kind of the reason I'm sharing it is many of those people that are experiencing those problems end up coming to me. So I just want to make you aware of this before maybe you decide to go down this avenue, because I know there's a big push. You know, you've got the Petersons, then the Lion diet, and great for her. You know, she came off of all of that medication. She's found remission from her autoimmune diseases. I'm not saying that there isn't healing wisdom here. What I'm saying is there's a lot more to it than that. And when it sounds so simple and it sounds like such a one-size-fits-all solution, you might feel this pull, like you're drawn into it. And you might have this feeling, this instinct that it's not right for you, but you're going with it anyway because that's what everybody's saying. Just trust yourself. There is a lot of nuance to these kinds of things. So that's everything from me today. I hope you found this really interesting. Bit of a controversial topic. Be really interested to hear your thoughts below. Let me know, has the carnivore diet completely saved your life? Did you try the carnivore diet and it completely fucks up your life and now you're dealing with a whole bunch of different problems? Wherever you're at, let me know. I'd be really interested to hear. This is a discussion that is really worth having. So take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.